Hey there, Joe here. Now, it's no secret that I love LinkedIn, but what I also love is discovering other tools that add value way beyond LinkedIn. And this is not a new tool. This has been around for quite a few years now, and I've been using it for a few years. And I'm going to be interviewing the CEO of this fabulous company called Nimble. Now, some of you may have heard of Nimble. Some of you may even be nimbling. Nimbling is going to be a thing if it's not already. We Google. That's the old way of doing it. Googling takes time. It takes a lot of effort to look at the results and research. Nimbling, on the other hand, is super fast and super efficient. So it's about working harder, faster, not harder, and having fun and getting to know people on a different level. And tools such as Nimble enable that. So John Ferrara has become a good friend of mine thanks to getting to know him online way beyond LinkedIn. Thanks to things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So we get to know more about each other. So I'm going to be introducing him to you guys if you haven't met him already, and he's going to share the Nimble story and how Nimble can add some value to your life. And hopefully you'll be using the term nimble and nimbling people, nimbling, things to find out more about people. So enjoy the interview. Hey there, this is Jo Saunders here with John Ferrara, CEO of Nimble, and we're going to be talking LinkedIn, but LinkedIn with a twist. Hey, John, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Joe. I love to inspire and educate other people because I learn when I teach. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to do that with you and your community.
I've been a user of Nimble for a couple of years now, and a user of LinkedIn for, quite a few years now. And I'm always looking for better ways, to use your terms, better, smarter, faster ways to use LinkedIn. And it's a social selling tool by all means, but it's not the be all and end all. And that's what I want to sort of share, where your product comes in and where it expands and extends the life of LinkedIn. So if you can you just tell us in a nutshell what LinkedIn, I know what LinkedIn is, what Nimble is, how it adds some value.
You bet. I really believe that relationships are critical to your business success, but more than your business success, your personal success, because I believe that every person should have a passion, plan, and purpose in life. That's my 3 Ps. And that your brand, your personal brand, plus your professional network will help you achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life. And what Nimble is a tool for individuals or teams that helps them to build and maintain the critical relationships that you need to achieve your goals in life. And LinkedIn just happens to be one component of the things that we work with. But like a chair, you can't sit on a chair with one leg. Well, some people can. They're in circuses. But most people need at least 4 chairs to a stool. And so what I love about LinkedIn, it is a business identity record that helps you at the very least to know who somebody is, where they work, and where they have worked, and what are their main business things that they're interested in, and participate in that journey with them by being part of their conversation. And it's a variety of platforms to publish videos now and to publish articles now, and it's really amazing. But it's not the be-all, end-all, because ultimately I believe in the 5 F's of life, and that's called family, friends, food, fun, and fellowship. And these are the places and ways that you connect with other human beings. That's the softer side. That's the deeper, firmer connection places. And in many cases, the business personas, you have to transcend that in order to build and maintain a relationship. So if you go and get to know somebody by going to their office and walking to their lobby and walking into their boardroom or their desk or in their office, that's one persona. But what I've taught salespeople and business people all my life is that you need to build intimacy and trust with your prospect and customer. And that's because people buy from people they like, know, and trust. And so for you to do that, typically you need to build that softer relationship, the 5 F's, and you do that by taking them to maybe to lunch or to a pub or to a ball game or to your home. And for me, these are places like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter where those softer things happen. So for you to build your brand and grow your network, you need to be able to communicate on whatever channel is most comfortable for your prospects and customers. And for me, that includes Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, Google+, Crunchbase, AngelList, and Snapchat. And so how do you manage relationships across all these different places? you need to be nimble to do that, and that's why we built the platform, and that's what we use it for.
Excellent, because when you put it like that, it does sound like I've got to spend all day now in all those platforms.
No.
Suddenly, first I thought, LinkedIn is my answer to all my business problems, and we know that not to be true, because like you said, I mean, how do we know each other? Well, yeah, we probably connected on LinkedIn, but we actually know each other really through other platforms.
Yes, I'll bet we probably met each other first on Twitter, through swimming in each other's digital footprint, admiring the things that you may have shared or the comments that you may have made, and ultimately that relationship shifted from Twitter to possibly a LinkedIn connection, and then to a calendar connection, and then to a series of emails. And then if you're doing all that right, we're now connected on Facebook, where we get to find more about each other's passion, plan, and purpose in life. And that deepens our connection. And then if we're doing it right, Instagram is an amazing place to get to know somebody. You could learn more about John Farrar in 5 seconds on my Instagram than you can in 5 minutes on my LinkedIn. Why? Because a picture tells 1,000 words. And in my Instagram, you're going to know what I care about, and it's family, food, friends, fun, and frolicking.
I know you like to cook on the barbecue. I know that from
Yes,
Instagram.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And so today, for you to build your brand, you need to create a persona on all the places where your prospects, customers, and ideally their influencers are having conversations. And then what you need to do is you need to begin to share content in and around your areas of passion, plan, and purpose, not just in business, but your personal side too, because that's how you build intimacy and connections with people. But then when they start to bite on that, if they plus one, like, comment, retweet, or otherwise engage with you, you need to be effective in those channels, in those places. So to do that, you need to know who somebody is and what their business is about, the history of interactions that you and the team have had, and then to be able to follow up and follow through. And today's CRMs, today's contact tools, or LinkedIn aren't designed to do that. That's what Nimble's for, because we unify all of your personas, all your connections, all those conversations, and then let you use them anywhere as you're working. And I think that's why people really dig using it in their workflow.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've been, like I said, I've been a user for a couple of years now, and for me, I think I was introduced because it was a sort of extension of the functionality of LinkedIn. That's where I sort of came in, and I thought, oh, this is great. Now I can do a lot more. But what I love about it, and I love seeing the journey, is the fact that Nimble works anywhere I work. And I've started using the term Nimble it as opposed to Google it, because Googling gives you a lot of work to do. It takes you a lot of time to sift through those records, click on all those links. But Nimble, it just automatically, to use your word, appears.
Actually, it's Automagically.
That's what I said. Automagically.
Yes.
Yes.
Automagically. Yes.
Automagically. It just came up.
And nimble is a verb. And and I think that you should nimble somebody before every meeting, because you not only want to know their business persona, but you want to know all their personas and their business information. And what Nimble gives you is not only where they work, where they're from, what they're influential in, but the last time you and the team ever talked to them, but also the business side of them. How long has their business been in business? How many employees do they have? How much revenue do they have? Who's the CEO? Who are their competitors? And all these things give you insights, and that's your job before every meeting, to do your homework, to be prepared, so that you can, instead of going in and having to ask all those questions, you can ask the key questions and then listen to learn, to find ways to add value. Because I think that service is the new selling. You're there as a salesperson to help that person grow. And if you go into a meeting prepared and you ask effective questions and you shut up and you listen, and then you find ways to add value, you can't help but win in life.
No. And your tool just makes it super simple to do that, because the information, pretty much, once you've sort of found that person on one of their platforms and created a record in Nimble, the information just comes to me.
Yeah. And I want to tell you a story of how I used Nimble last week.
Okay.
So there I was in Twitter, and I saw that somebody was talking about Nimble and myself, and I didn't know who he was. His name was Theo. But he was talking to somebody I actually knew. Her name's Tiffany Bova. She was a Gartner analyst for CRM and sales strategies. Now she works for Salesforce. So her job is to basically teach and build strategy and thought leadership around Salesforce and CRM. So she shared a tweet. She said, CRM isn't about command and control. It's about relationships and empowering customer-facing business team members to engage. Now, the person that responded to her, this guy Theo, said, really? Isn't that what John Ferrara has been saying for the past 6 years? And isn't that what Nimble does? And when are sales managers going to loosen the grip on salespeople? And I love that, because what he's saying is that Tiffany, that's kind of what you just said, is kind of like the evil empire saying that they're all about the force and goodness. In reality, they're saying that because that's the mantra of today, where everybody's saying CRM is about keeping the finger on the pulse of business and hand around the neck of the salesperson. And that the reason they call it Salesforce, you have to force salespeople to use it. Nobody in their right mind would use a CRM if they weren't beat on to do it. And that's why they fail, by the way, is because you work for them and you have to go to them to work for them. And so he was basically calling BS. And I love that. So I got to know who Theo is. So what did I do? I nimbled him right there in the Twitter stream. Not only did Nimble tell me that he was head of data and CRM at Walt Disney Company, which is a fairly large company here in Southern California, but that he actually lives in my neighborhood. And it gave me his email and his phone number. And because, and that's part of Nimble Prospector, by the way, because he had talked about me in such a specific way, it gave me permission to reach out to him. So I not only commented on the Twitter stream, I sent him an email and said, Theo, thanks for the kind words. Would love to connect and learn more about you. He then sent me a LinkedIn connection and started messaging me on LinkedIn. So the conversation shifted from Twitter conversation to a LinkedIn conversation, where we then established a breakfast meeting that following Saturday, which went to a calendar appointment and a series of emails, a face-to-face meeting, where now we're going to be collaborating on projects together. And that wouldn't have happened if I couldn't have deciphered who Theo was, and to be able to get his contact info and to reach out and establish that initial connection, and then drive that relationship through a variety of platforms back to Nimble. And so that is the way the future relationships will work. They're messy. They happen in a variety of places, and you need to be able to dance across those places in order to establish connections with people that matter, and drive them to some type of mutually beneficial, measurable outcome. And I love that story because it completely illustrates the power of nimbling somebody and the power of something new that we just introduced called Nimble Prospector.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Well, this is a nice lead-in, actually. Do you want to quickly just talk about Nimble Prospector? Because I've had a quick look at it and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I believe that the biggest problem with CRM is that you work for it and you have to go to it to work for it, right?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, my previous company, Goldmine, was Salesforce and Outlook combined before either company existed. And that's why people loved it. And I want to get this idea across. The biggest problem with CRM is you put prospects and customers in it, and salespeople use it to engage with the customer. And guess what? To grow a business, it's more than connecting with prospects and customers, and it's more than salespeople who touch them. Yep. Everybody in the company participates in the journey with the constituency around your business, which means every business needs a relationship system of record. What does that mean? Every business needs a really good contact manager. And I know that because I invented contact management with Goldmine, and that was where everybody in the company lived. Now, today, the problem with CRM is that salespeople live in the CRM, but everybody really lives in email, and now more and more social. And so you feel burdened to, before a meeting, you have to go Google who they are, Google what their business is, go type that into the CRM, go try to engage with somebody through email and social, go back to the CRM and log it, and that's horrible. You're working for it, and you have to go to it to work for it. And so we built this plugin to, first off, we built Nimble to automatically build your relationship record for you from your email, from your calendar, from your contacts in Office and G Suite and Gmail, but then enrich it with people and company data, connect the social data, and then work with you everywhere you're working. So if you're in your inbox, or if you're in social, or if you're even in a business app, Nimble works with you everywhere you work. And so we've been automatically building records on people and company for some time now. But what people told us is they wanted contact info. They want their address, they want their phone number, and they want their email. Because let's face it, the phone is still a powerful way to reach out to somebody if you connect in a relevant, authentic way with a specific reason why you want to add value to them. Or email could be.
Yeah.
Or even, if you're smart, a postal letter. And so what Nimble Prospector does is you give it anything. You give it a string, first name, last name, company name. You give it an email. You give it a social handle. We'll automatically build the record and then give you and enrich it with not only their company and personal information, but their email, phone number, and address automatically. And it's just amazing. It's addicting to be able to nimble somebody and get the key contact info that I need to connect and engage. In fact, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to use this for my next conference.
Okay.
So
excellent.
Nimble imports Twitter lists. And I'm going to this conference called Social Media Marketing World. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to be a speaker at that conference?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to go to your session. In fact, if you're listening to this today, make sure you buy a ticket for Social Media Marketing World 17 in San Diego and sign up for Joe Saunders' session, because it's going to be amazing with Viv.
Is. Yes.
Right? Okay.
I'm not talking with Viv. She's running a separate session, but
okay.
we'll both be there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I want to talk to you about how you can prepare for a conference. So one of the cool things Nimble does is import Twitter lists. And there's Twitter lists on everything. In fact, there are Twitter lists on the past 5 years, speakers and influencers at Social Media Marketing World.
Yeah.
So you could import those Twitter lists and build a database of all the influencers and speakers for the past 5 years, which I have.
Yeah.
And it's 8,000 people big, by the way. So now what I could do is, because you put a name in Nimble, it automatically enriches it with people and company information, including their areas of influence, 10 fields, 10, count them, areas of influence, which is like an auto tag. I could actually segment based off people that I might want to connect to and our shared commonalities, areas of interest, and send them a one-to-one email at scale with Nimble, where the email would come to you and look like this. Hey, Joe, since we share a passion in social selling and marketing, I would love to connect with you while we're both at Social Media Marketing World to learn more about you and find ways that we might be able to add value to each other. Here's my calendar link. Would love to connect. Now, if I sent you that email and we actually did share those areas of commonality, you'd feel like I was talking to you. I personally reached out to you, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
And in today's overconnected, overcommunicated world, it is getting harder and harder to basically reach out and connect with people that matter and start those conversations. If you could build a database automatically, enrich it with the segmentation stuff, and then segment off of your shared commonalities and outreach in a one-to-one way where the emails come from you to them, oh my gosh, I get a 50% open rate. 50% open rate when I do that. And I only send to like maybe 50 people, right?
Yeah.
A small segment of them. You don't just blast people. You got to reach out in a real way. And that's how I prepare for going to conferences. So I'll be doing that before Social Media Marketing World. I'd love to teach you to do the same.
That's great. I've already imported the Twitter list of speakers for next year's Social Media Marketing World. So I've already done that, but I haven't.
You got to do the previous years, because people typically go back after they've gone once.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So some great tips there. Gosh, I mean, Nimbles just adds so much value to all the social experience, and it just goes to show that I mean, for me, I still like email. I much prefer email to, say, LinkedIn Messenger, because LinkedIn Messenger is just a mess. It's like a big pile of messages, and when it gets really busy, it gets really hard to manage. But I find that being able to take these conversations to your preferred method of communication, so be it email, be it phone, or be it direct mail, like you said, direct mail definitely has a place. And if you can be specific and personal, Nimble just allows you to do that. So I don't see emails going anywhere.
And to be specific and personal, you need to know who somebody is, what their business is about,
Yeah.
what's going on in their lives, and be specific about how you might be able to add value. Why are you reaching out to me? What is it that you want to do with me? And if you could do that very authentically and relevantly, you're going to cut through the chatter. And I'm either going to pick up the phone and I'm going to talk to you, or I'm going to respond to your email. And that's what we want in this world, is to be able to create those connections that we need to. And I'm going to tell you something, Joe. Facebook messages, oh my gosh, that is the most powerful way sometimes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm going to show you something here real quick. See if you can see that number on my email.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Send me an email. It may not get through. And that's because there's just too many emails.
Yeah.
But where do people spend their whole day these days? Right?
Yeah.
I believe, do you see all those little red lights?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? Basically, I really believe at the heart of all people, they want to be heard. They want to be wanted. They want to be loved, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and when I was a kid in high school, I'd come home from high school, and we had one answering machine connected to that phone. It was from AT&T, had an LED with a blinking light. And on Friday night, if that LED wasn't blinking and the number wasn't greater than 3, I knew I was in trouble, because we didn't have cell phones to basically figure out where the parties were. I had to figure that out before I left the house that night, right?
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, we're all constantly feeding this thing so we get the little red lights. And I'm not just talking about Twitter and Facebook. I'm talking about LinkedIn as well. I'm talking about all the sites, right? All the places where we feed stuff so that we basically get that response. And so I think that one of the places that, you look at the statistics, how many people are on Facebook and how many people spend how much time there. Most people have Facebook loaded, and they have their messenger loaded and their notifications turned on, which means if I want to get a hold of somebody, if I've built the intimacy and trust necessary to be connected with them on Facebook, if I want to reach out to influencers and basically do something with them, Facebook's powerful. But ultimately, what I'm saying here is there is no one channel. There is no one channel. You need to communicate on whatever channel is most effective for the person that you're communicating with. And that's why we need something that Automagically builds our relationship system of records for ourselves or our team. And I call it the Golden Rolladex. You ever seen a Rolodex?
Oh yes, I remember those in the good old days.
So Martin Brossman, who is a social selling trainer in North Carolina, I talked about the Golden Rolladex. You know what he did? He went to a thrift store and found an old Rolodex, and he spray painted it gold and sent it to me. Bless his heart.
Oh, that's gold. That's gold.
But we all have a Golden Rolodex, and we don't take good care of it, and we don't bring it to work with us. Imagine if every salesperson, every business person who's listening to me today had their Golden Rolodex, which wasn't just their email contacts in their phone or their Twitter contacts across all these different things, but an application actually went through any application they're working in, including their company's CRM, and help them bring their network to work with them to use it on the company's behalf. That'd be amazing, because salespeople don't put their contacts in the company's CRM. And so that's why I think Nimble's so cool, is that it helps you to build your Golden Rolodex and then bring it to work with you. And I want to share something that I haven't told people yet.
Ooh, okay, listen in.
Okay, let's be really quiet so nobody hears. Okay, right? We know what this is. Okay, so today, if you think about Nimble, it's a dashboard into your business, right? So in your business, the operating system of your business today is either Gmail, G Suite, or Office 365. Maybe iCloud if you are kind of not really full foot in the professional world, but it's either one of those or all of them. Which one is it for you?
Office 365.
Okay. You're a smart gal. By the way, I don't know if I've told you or not, but Microsoft signed a reseller agreement where they're reselling Nimble with Office 365 through their resellers. Pretty cool. So,
very cool.
The operating system of your business is the thing that ties the PCs together and helps them to work. Back in my day, when I started Gold Money, it was something called Novell. You probably never heard of Novell.
I have heard of Novell.
Yep.
My
Novell
husband's
was
in
the
IT.
Okay. Novell was the operating system that connected PCs until
Yeah.
Microsoft uh, hired my former boss at Banyan, Jim Alchin, and he built NT Server, and that became the operating system of business with Exchange Server.
Yeah.
But today, it's in the cloud, and it's either G Suite, Gmail, or Office 365. But what they suffer from is they're not good contact managers, and that's what Nimble fixes. We're this great contact manager that layers on top, but then I think the coolest thing is not only are we a layer on top of Gmail, G Suite, Office, and iCloud for email, contact, and calendar, and then Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn for social, Nimble is shipping within 2 weeks bidirectional intelligent synchronization with 80 of the top social, sales, marketing, customer service, and accounting applications, which means we can go into any business, even if they have an existing social, sales, and marketing system, and ingest their contacts from all those places, enrich it with people and company data, and then be able to use Nimble within those applications and even update those applications with any changes they do in Nimble from wherever they're working, which means if you're using HubSpot today, HubSpot CRM, HubSpot Sales, if you're using Salesforce or Dynamics CRM or MailChimp, it doesn't matter. We can add value to any tool you're using and make that tool portable so that any work you do anywhere, any prospecting you do wherever you're doing it, all end up back in the system that you're using already today, which is friggin' amazing.
That's awesome. I just love all these awesome changes that come through. Like I said, I mean, initially when I signed up with Nimble, it was because of the relationship with LinkedIn.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, just everything that's opened up and just the way you've taken it up and it works anywhere that I work. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And I want to talk about my relationship with LinkedIn. First of all, I love the team at LinkedIn. I've personally met with Jeff Weiner all the way down through the whole management team, the corp dev, biz dev, and have had a long relationship with them. In fact, they gave me the keys to the city some 6 years ago, which means I had every API that they have, and I was able to enrich records, to be able to synchronize signals, messages, and all your contacts. And it was amazing. People really loved that. But I think that when LinkedIn decided to build LinkedIn Sales Navigator and when they cut the API off to everybody else, that changed for all of us. Yeah. And I think that that because Microsoft has purchased LinkedIn, and because Microsoft is an open company with an open channel and open trainers and open resellers and integrating with other ISVs, did you know Microsoft has a CRM?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Dynamics. Yet, not only are they reselling Nimble, but they're investing in Nimble today.
Awesome. Yeah.
Right? Why do they do that? Because they recognize that they can't do everything themselves. Yeah. And I believe that LinkedIn is going to get to a place where not only are they going to re-embrace companies like Nimble, but they're going to embrace people like you, Joe, where you will become the reseller and trainer on an authorized basis where they're actually referring customers to you. This is my prediction.
Awesome. Well, when that happens, I'll let you know, because that's, right. I'd love to be that person. I've just for my pals to be.
You know what? They would be smart to do so. And Microsoft does that exact same thing today. Microsoft doesn't really sell software or services. They do it all through their partners. And I believe that when LinkedIn starts to do that and emulate that Microsoft is doing today, it's just going to explode, right? It's just going to explode because LinkedIn has so much value in it. And I think it will really uncover that value. In fact, I predict that there will become a day where not only are we partnering with LinkedIn, but Nimble becomes the gateway drug to LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So think about that. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So watch this. Today, if you were to give LinkedIn Sales Navigator to a person, they really couldn't use it without some training. I mean, you don't really understand social selling and how to basically manage signals and walk in people's footprints, et cetera. But imagine if Nimble had enough of LinkedIn built into it that we were a layer on top of Office or G Suite or Gmail, and we help people to do that basic social stuff. But if you wanted to do the sophisticated stuff that you could do in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, basically it's just a part of Nimble that we upsell you into Navigator.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. It's going to happen.
I reckon it's going to happen very soon. I like it. I was going to talk about Sales Navigator, but you've covered it. So that is awesome because.
Well, I'm a subscriber of Sales Navigator, and I think it does a good job with leveraging some of the LinkedIn technology, some of which used to be free. Now it's paid. But I'm a software developer. I understand that you need to monetize, and I think that they've done a good job with maturing the platform, and it does some really cool things. And that's why I'm a subscriber. And I look forward to be an ISV integrator, and in the future embedding and reselling LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and becoming the gateway drug to millions of seats for them.
Yeah. You've certainly come a long way since Goldmine. I'm just thinking, I used to use Goldmine back in the day. My boss at the time loved Goldmine. He introduced me to it back, gosh, I'm showing my age, probably about 15, 16 years ago now. I was using it.
You're dating me.
Oh dear, yes. And I just remember how it integrated with Word and all the cool stuff it did back then, and then just seeing, like I said, where Nimble is now and the predictions for where it's going to be. It's just.
Have you seen our integrations with Office 365 and Outlook and Outlook Mobile?
Yeah. I've been having a look.
Okay.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about just some of the benefits of those things? Just because, some of the viewers may not have be across.
Sure. So you're talking about Goldmine. That was a long time ago. I used to be a magician. This was actually a cover of Fortune magazine back in the day. They sent a really nice photographer, and they used a lot of lights to do this. But there's no like Photoshop here. This was all done with masking tape. They basically taped the boxes to the window. So that's my view of the Pacific Ocean. So that's the ocean outside my office, and it's Pacific Palisades, Malibu. And so this is me juggling. But the whole way that we built Goldmine back in the day was through partnering. Yeah. And I believe that's the way to build any business. And so this is our first reseller conference in Manhattan Beach. And these are all former Novell resellers. And eventually when we started to integrate with Microsoft and start to drive a lot of NT server, SQL Server, and Exchange Server seats, then we started to expand. And we eventually had almost 10,000 resellers back in the day. So it was a lot of fun. So the reason why we built Nimble is that I believe that contact management is broken.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that when you go to a contact record in Office 365 or in G Suite or even on Apple Contacts, you don't have context. Context is the history of interactions that you and the team have had on email and on social. And you don't have insights. Who are they and what is their business about? And you need all these things. And so what people loved about Goldmine is that there was a single relationship system of record that when you go to a contact record, you have the history of interactions that you and the team have had on email and calendar. And that was my first idea, but to make social as well, because as I started to use Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, I saw the power of having all these conversations, but I wanted to tie those conversations into a measurable, manageable place. So I started to play with things like Hootsuite. But the problem is that if I see that there's somebody talking to me or about me, I can't tie that conversation back to the person. And so that's why we basically built Nimble, so we could tie those signals back to the people so that I could actually see what this person is saying about me or my team or my brand. And so Nimble Automagically builds your relationship system from your Office 365 contacts, from the email, from the calendar, and then basically enriches it with the people and company data by not just mapping the identity, but bringing the data down and then basically giving you a up-to-date view, including this digital dossier, which includes the areas of influence, which are like auto tags, which are really, really powerful. But the biggest, coolest thing is that it works with you everywhere you work. So if I'm inside my email, I could easily see who that person is and the history of our interaction. And we built that into Office 365 as well. So if I open up an email in Office 365, let me see if I can move this. There's a button here. If you go and click that, there's the Nimble add-in in here, and it'll essentially tell you who the person is and what their business is about including all the bios behind that business. And then if you're a subscriber of Nimble, it'll help you do the follow-up and follow-through right here inside of your email. But it's not just the email, it happens everywhere you work. So if I see that there's somebody talking to me or about me, I could easily see who that person is and the history of our interactions. And if somebody is talking about me that I don't know, let me just see if I can find somebody that I don't know. Sometimes that's hard.
Someone you don't know, John?
I'm working on it. So Stephen Wampler. Let's see. Wampler Foundation, Stephen Wampler. Come on, Nimble. There he is. So Stephen Wampler. So there's Stephen. Now with the new Nimble Prospector tool, now he already had an email, so I can't do that. Okay, so here is this guy, Onar Uxekli. Okay, so I slaughtered that name. I'm so sorry. But Nimble basically maps the identity of these people. And then what it does is it brings the data down. And now, besides just giving you the identity of the person, we also will give you their contact info. So if I go into here and say search for contact info, then what will happen is Nimble will go and find, for most people, not Yuri, their contact information. And so what I love about this is it basically allows me to take these conversations from the Twitter stream and to be able to build these rich, beautiful records for people. So let's try this on Pedro. So what you need is you need their company domain. And so what we're going to do is we'll just go into here and put in their company. And then what will happen is Nimble will go ahead and find their domain. And then basically what it'll do is it'll go ahead and give you their contact info. And so this guy's already got his email in there. So let's go ahead and try Lindsay. So with Twitter, so what you need is you basically need to have their domain. And sometimes if you don't have their company name right, we can't figure it out. But so here's an example of it.
Yeah.
We basically give you their email, we give you their company name. In many cases, we'll give you their phone number. And all that's basically built without me having to lift a finger. And so the idea of Nimble Prospector is that you can literally prospect anywhere. And when I say prospect, I'm not talking about selling, because I don't think that you should build connections to sell somebody. I think you should build connections to serve somebody. It may be helping them build their brand in their network. It may be learning about them and maybe adding some value with your products or services. And so you could literally do this anywhere as you are. And I love to prospect inside Crunchbase. I don't know if you've ever heard of Crunchbase,
No.
but Crunchbase is a database on technology founders. And so if I wanted to go and find more information about this company or this founder, basically Nimble helps you to do that everywhere you're working. And so all you got to do is Nimble them, and Nimble will go ahead and give you their basic profile. And then when you search for the contact info, it's literally as simple as that. And it's pretty fun to do. So basically the idea of Nimble is that it works with you inside your inbox. It works with you inside of your social. It even can work with you inside your existing CRMs. And so if you are a business person and you're forced to use some CRM at your office, you could bring your network to work with you and have it work with you, whether it is Salesforce or even within Dynamics. And so you could even use it inside of a business article. So you may be reading an article about a particular person, and Nimble will actually help you to take that person, build a record, and begin to engage with them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So great to build relationships with like the media, journalists, event organizers, people putting on conferences, if that's what you're looking to do.
Yes.
That's great. So in terms of how people can use it, what kind of people would you say it's suited for individuals or for organizations? Like,
I think that your network is your net worth. Your personal brand plus your professional network will help you achieve anything you want in life. And it's not just
yeah,
salespeople that need to be worried about that. Even an engineer, right?
yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, if you're a product manager or engineer at a technology company, you're going to be hired based off people's perception about what you might be able to do for their company. So anybody listening to this today who's in
mm,
business should be using Nimble. So this means any individual, it could be a student getting out of college,
yeah,
it could be a consultant, or it could be a team within a small, medium, larger enterprise company. So we have groups of people that use Nimble at IBM, at Microsoft, even at LinkedIn. And
yeah,
so anybody listening to this today should be thinking about using Nimble if you're concerned about your network and your brand, which you should be today. So it's not just for salespeople, it's really for anybody who wants to build a sustainable garden of relationships around themselves and nurture that garden to produce results for them today and forever.
yeah. I want to say amen. It's like a sermon.
I talk like that because today I went to my wife's garden that she built a therapy garden for autistic children in our neighborhood. And I was just watching the work that she does there. And it reminded me that, that really the community that you're building around yourself, either personally or professionally, either individually or as a company, is going to sustain you in life. And that you shouldn't just be attracting prospects and customers to your business. You should be attracting editors, analysts, bloggers, influencers, third-party developers, investors, advisors, and prospects and customers, and their influencers as well. And to do that effectively at scale, you need help.
And that's where Nimble comes in.
That's why I built Nimble, baby. And I want to share a story with you. When I sold gold mining, I was 40 years old. Imagine me at 40 years old. I showed you a picture of it. It's a pretty close picture to that one. And I sold it for, I was very fortunate for what I sold it for. And a year after I sold the company, I got a head tumor and almost died. And, I think we take our health for granted until we're really faced with something significant. You don't really understand the value of that. And during the process of dealing with my tumor and getting healthy again, I went on a spiritual growth journey. And through that journey, I came to the realization that we're on this planet to grow our souls and help other people grow theirs. And that's it. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to take money with me. I'm not going to take my beautiful new iPhone 8 with me. I'm not going to take my Ford C-Max with me. I'm not going to take anything with me. What I'm going to take are the moments that I've been truly present with other human beings, and the vibrations and the value add that I've created through those conversations. And so I think that's what I love most about having built Goldmine, is the people that come and stop me on the street and say, John, you changed my life. Whether it's a Goldmine employee or a Goldmine reseller, or even the people that I touch through the journey. The person who's the head of Salesforce strategy, John Tasic, was the editor of PC Computing when I was teaching him about CRM. And he thanked me for that.
Wow.
And
That's
so
great.
the reason why I got back in the business to build Nimble is that I wasn't done helping people grow. I think there's an opportunity for me to do the same thing, but even bigger. And so the reason why we are building Nimble today is to power other people's passion, plan, and purpose in life. And so if we could do that at scale, we've done our job.
That's awesome. Awesome. And I love, like I said, I love the vision. I love how you run the company. And I love this. I love that I can just talk to you. You're so approachable. You're there. You're present.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, and this is, I mean, I don't like talking money, but I figured this is a good time to mention. One of the things I love about Nimble is it's in reach of anybody. You've made it affordable. You've made it a no-brainer, because it's not like, I mean, some of the CRM platforms are quite expensive. You've got the really high-end sort of stuff. I mean, a lot of people use it.
And many of the affordable ones are now getting to be more expensive. I mean, everybody wants to go up market to the enterprise. I think the blue ocean opportunity in the marketplace is for the 99% of the rest of us who can't afford the modern social sales and marketing technology tech stack. If you think about it today, basically you need to buy a market automation system, you need to buy a CRM, you need to buy sales intelligence software, and you need to buy email tracking sales enablement software. So let's just pick some products. So you have to buy MailChimp to Marketo, Nimble to Salesforce for the CRM, Sales Intelligence is Inside View, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Raintree, DiscoverOrg, or Nimble, which is number one satisfaction in that category, or email tracking sales enablement. Yesware, TADApp, SalesLoft, or HubSpot Sales, or Nimble, which is now recently in that category as well. And what we're building is a blend of social sales and marketing. So you don't have to go out and buy 5 different tools and try to get them to all work together. And I don't think you should have to. It should be simple and easy. And to that effect, we're coming out with a new product.
Ooh.
Shh.
Don't tell anybody.
Is anybody listening? Okay, it's quiet. It's going to be called Nimble Contact.
Ooh.
Because I believe the world needs good contact management. And I know that because I invented it. And so the heart of the way most people use their CRM is a contact manager. They're using it for notes, tasks, and contacts. And so we're going to come out with a Nimble Contact, and it's going to be really affordable. And you can layer it on top of Office and Gmail individually or as a team and use it in the existing CRM. And you combine Nimble Contact with Nimble Prospector, you'd be a fool not to use it if you're using existing CRM, especially with our new bidirectional intelligent synchronization. Shh, don't tell anybody.
I love it. But I mean, the fact that, like I said, going back to LinkedIn taking away all the relationship feature of the platform, because I use that a lot. I added notes, so I was, and because I do a lot of training, so if you're not using a CRM right now, this is a nice way to get started, but then they took it all away. But Nimble just fixes that problem. So, wipe all your eggs. And plus, like I said, LinkedIn, like you said, LinkedIn's just one leg of the chair.
Yeah.
So,
but it's my intent not to steal sales from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I believe that there is a certain amount of the population that needs LinkedIn Sales Navigator.
Yeah.
And what I want to become is a gateway drug to LinkedIn Sales Navigator for the people that need it.
Yeah.
And I believe for them to start consuming LinkedIn Sales Navigator, they need to learn about social selling and social media and contact management. And guess what? I invented social selling. I invented social CRM. I invented contact management. I invented CRM. And so I'm going to build the most bossest program that basically teaches, preaches, and grows people to the point where they buy Office 365, they layer Nimble on top for next to nothing, they start to grow, and I will feed sales into Dynamic CRM and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and Microsoft will love me so much that they'll give me, they'll just drive business to us. And that's exactly the way we built Goldmine, by becoming the number one ISV for NT Server, SQL Server, and Exchange Server, and we're in the process of doing it again. Yeah,
that's awesome, because wherever you are in your journey, you're going to grow. You're going to, and Nimble allows you to scale with and scale to. So it's just a no-brainer. And that's probably a good way to wrap it up. I think we've covered all the angles. I mean, I talk about Nimble as just so many things. I mean, social intelligence is one of the big things for me, and because it allows you to get to know people, get to know what their interests are, who's in their family, all those things that we learn about people when we have real conversations with people, and it allows you just to get that done.
Well, I'll leave you with another story. So there is a guy named Ken Krogh, who is the CEO of a company called Inside Sales, which is like one of the number one power dialer things for call centers. It's used in conjunction with Salesforce. And I was going to have a meeting with him. So I nimbled him before the meeting. And Nimble showed me that not only was he an ASM, Assistant Scoutmaster, it's a position with the Boy Scouts, but he had 2 Eagle Scouts. Well, guess what? I was an ASM, and I have 2 Eagle Scouts. And when you share that kind of thing with another person, that's immediate trust. Immediate trust.
Yeah.
And you can't buy that, and you can't figure that out by Googling somebody all the time, and you're not going to find it by looking at one leg of their stool. So you owe it to yourself before you connect with somebody to walk across all the digital footprints and then begin building connections on the places that are most natural, and then to move from one point to the other in those places and relationships in order to create that solid connection that will withstand any business issue that you'd ever run into. And that's the nimble way.
Yeah, that's gold. That just says it all.
Oh, I like that. Gold. Did you know that I trademarked turn your contacts into gold?
Oh, did you? Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also trademarked automated processes, which is the precursor to market automation back in the day.
Yeah.
But that's some other stuff. We'll cover that in the next chapter.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing Nimble, the future, all those secrets, upcoming things. I'm super excited about that. Yeah, don't tell anybody about that stuff.
No.
But I mean, really, if people aren't nimbling, and that's not becoming a word in everybody's vocabulary, really, like kind of speak now vocabulary, just like Google. I mean, Google's done it, and Nimble's the next thing.
I think you will be at a disadvantage as a business person if you aren't nimbling soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're still not sure how to nimble, sign up, because you've got a 14-day trial for your product.
We do.
People can
Nimble.com.
Yeah.
And I have a song.
A song?
Yeah.
Are we going to sing it?
Nimble while you work.
Oh, dear. Okay. Excellent.
Okay. I actually have to figure out the rest of the words to that. Yeah, but that's another time.
I like it. I reckon that's going to be a hit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like the nimble bread, right? Okay. But thank you, Joan.
And on that note, go and nibble while you work.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in San Diego.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up face to face.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Bye.
So thanks for watching this video. If you've watched to the end, hopefully now you're sold on why Nimble is such an exciting addition to the online network and how you can use it to build better relationships with people that matter in your life and get to know those new people. So take up John's offer, sign up for Nimble, get the 14-day trial, have a look at that, get the Smart Contact app that works everywhere that you work, and you'll fall in love with Nimble. It's a fabulous tool, and it's the changes that would be the updates that John shared is very, very exciting. So jump on board and give it a go and get nimbling.